What is up, Driven Network? You know, I ask, how are you doing? It's not the important thing. I ask how you're feeling because everything in this life is revolved around energy. And if you make motion, you can create emotion. So here we are. We're on episode 9 of the Driven Mindset podcast. I got my co-host waiting in the green room, trying out the fresh blueberries. You know, he's back there snacking. Mr. Cody hunting for a good time on the mountain. We're all a little lacking of snow, but that doesn't hold us back from focusing on our mindset. Every week we're coming to you live. Right now we're on Facebook and YouTube. And if you follow up with me in about a week, we'll be live with the podcast on Spotify. I will release this episode 9. What's up, Cody? How you feeling tonight?
Good, man. Super busy week so far. Super busy week. Just 20 minutes ago, I was putting washer and dryer in the house, but feeling good. Tomorrow, I'm meeting with the guy that I'm doing the snow bike race with here in Alpine, so I'm excited about that. Keeping the
we haven't really talked about that yet.
I think we talked about it. Maybe
it was one of your leading comments that there may be something coming up that people would be interested in.
Yeah, so we're doing a snow bike race here in Alpine, January 16th and 17th. Really excited about that. It's going to bring quite a bit of people to Alpine, and that's important to me. So I'll be making a post about that on my social media this week.
Did you see the release from X Games? What they're up to?
No motorized vehicles at all, and no audience.
I mean, I get the no audience thing. That's understandable. Climate conditions, current things, but they chose to get rid of motorized sports. And when I see companies or people make changes like that, it's hard to get it back in there. I see a pretty big opportunity. That was the first, so I've been in this training all week so far with my full-time, my real job. And the dude did, and I couldn't help but think about our podcast we had with Ryan Phillips about there are no problems, there's only solutions. So This guy that's just a pure genius on things, man, he'd never missed a beat about, those are not problems. He was really solution oriented, and everything we're like, well, we have this problem and we've tried this and we struggle this way. And he's like, man, that's a good opportunity to learn. He's like, there's so much opportunity there. He's like, if you guys just have tons of opportunities, but he constantly referred to them as opportunities. And by the end of the training, it was like, so that's a good opportunity. We've messed that up enough. We have plenty of opportunity. So I see this instance where we're losing the motorized sports and X Games this year, that we might have an opportunity to create something real cool for our industry.
I see it as an opportunity for sure. Where that opportunity might lie, not sure, but I am stoked that we're doing a snow bike race right here in Alpine when
it starts with there
is not going to have any motorized. So I'm really excited about that, man. And, keeping the vibes high, and hope everyone shows up, and it should be a good time. So
January 16th and 17th?
16th and 17th, yes.
That's knocking on next month's door. I like that, man. I hope for a good turnout.
Yep, so I should be in the Snowcat right around the first of the year, starting to push the track in, and then get the boys out here, and boys and girls. I mean, whoever wants to enter can enter. There's many different classes. And there's plenty of prize money, and Toyota is actually sponsoring the event, which is a big deal. And then the Army Corps is also sponsoring it as well. So
that's nice. I know you guys put on a veteran ride up there on your own dime with a few guys, Brap Chap and Sled Addicts. So that's pretty cool. You can keep that tradition going this year.
Yep, and it's teamed up with a little bit different different style of the Army, but it should be still good. So
all good.
Yeah,
that is definitely something to feed on. Dude, we got a guest. I want to everybody, like, I've been running basically wide open. If you're keeping track on me, I'm on day 73 of 75 hard.
So what are we gonna do for your like celebration of finishing 75 hard? I was thinking about that when I was laying in bed last night, which is weird. I was thinking about you, Scott, when I was laying.
Hey man, I got this personality and I'm infectious, and I hope to everybody. Well, I don't want to say I hope everybody thinks about me laying in bed, but I want to say I hope that they at least think of some of my concepts and things that I've taken on. I don't know, man. Is a nap considered a celebration? I haven't had one of those in a while.
A nap would be a celebration for you, I would imagine. Yeah, or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We talked about that. You just want peanut butter.
Yep. My kid, little man's over here in the corner. He says we can go to sushi and celebrate, which is cool because it kind of stays on my meal plan. I don't know, man. Celebration is probably the wrong word because that makes it seem like there might be an end to it or something. I don't know. These are life-changing decisions I made, which is really, I'm really excited to bring our guest on. I haven't told anybody who we have sitting in the green room right now, straightening her toque as she fixed her part on the wrong side. I want to jump into it because she of lifestyle changes and lifestyle decisions. She's probably as close to an expert as I have in my personal network, aside from a few people that have helped me with 75 hard. But I don't want to think of it as a celebration that it's ending. Like, let's celebrate that I got now 365 days a year to make these same decisions that I've held myself accountable to for 75 days in a row, which if anybody was following early on, I didn't think I could do it, but here we are, one day at a time doing it. I love it.
You're pumped for sure. I mean, you're so close. And I remember a while back, you sent me a message where you're like, dude, I almost quit today, but I kept going. And, that's impressive, man. I'm stoked for you.
So our guest today, I called her a guest host because I'm pretty sure she's just going to take the show over with not only her energy, but just she's a fun soul to talk to. You guys might remember her from Driven episode 100. We was popping bottles. I went back and I didn't really watch it, but I looked at it on my timeline. I spilt champagne all over. Eliisa Tennant from British Columbia, hiding in the dark shadows.
No, I'm sorry.
It's a little bit dark in there, but
I have an light.
Welcome to the show. This is a little revamped version of Driven, the Driven Mindset podcast. Everybody that's watching, like I said, we had Eliisa on episode 100 when we were running just the Driven show. She's on episode 9 now. It is, there you go.
Here I am. Hi.
On the show now.
So we had to bring her. We had to bring a female. I think this might be our first girl that we've had on the podcast, right?
Oh boy! Yeah. Now I'm super honored.
Welcome and thank you for jumping on with us tonight. I think we're gonna have some fun. You guys, could you hear us in the green room? I've never really asked anybody that when you're back there.
And I was like dancing to the music and I was agreeing with a lot of what you were saying, but nobody could see that I was.
So let's see. I gotta ask, and I'm gonna set this up this way because I know you've had a big goal. Just a little backstory. I'll let you tell what you're into, but at least started riding sleds 5 years ago, and you set a goal for this year, and it's early in the season, but I gotta know, have you figured out how to start your own sled?
No, this is so timely. I still cannot start my sled. So I today actually went out riding, and I know, Cody, it's I make fun of myself on social media all the time because that first pull, you guys, there's just so much compression, and I just can't start it. And so today, one of my friends, Adam, was in the parking lot. I'm like, can you start my sled? I'm going to make a reel of a compilation of people just starting my sled this year for me. And actually, it's really funny. I work with the guys at South Simcoe Machine, and I got my pull handle, and it says, "Hey, stranger," because usually random people just start it. So it hasn't happened for me yet. But
I'll have to take my South Simcoe handle off and send you the one that says driven. And then that way, when you see it, you can be like, I gotta practice this today. I gotta make it a goal.
I do need to tell people I can start it when it's warm. Like I do have shots, so it's kind of cheating, but I can pull it when it's warm and it does turn over. So by the end of the year.
There's a strategy behind starting your sled.
Someone needs to teach me this then.
And it's like in the follow through and the hip throw, and it's all I think, where did I see that? I think it was on like the Mountainous website with Tana. I'm pretty sure she made a video about it.
Part of it is it's in the box of my truck, and if I fall, I got a big truck now. I'm just gonna fall out and it's gonna hurt. One day.
Oh boy.
I love it.
Watch that.
We should do like we were talking about stuff behind the scenes for a long time. Perhaps when I fire back up on 75 hard next year, because I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want the changes I've made with this, like we were talking about and talked about. I don't want to make the changes that I've made for this, just do it for 75 days and it goes away. So in the spring, I'm going to kick this back off because it's super fun. And I don't know. It seems weird when Andy and everybody that's done the 75 hard, you learn to start liking uncomfortable positions. And they say that if you learn to teach yourself to sort of become comfortable in those uncomfortable positions, that you can get better at handling them and you can do more, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to do one Elisa's going to join, except for we're not going to do one workout outside and one workout inside. We're going to do one work outside on the machine that literally you can reproduce the pull, and we're going to do it for 45 minutes.
Oh my God. I love this idea.
We'll have to modify it, and I'll go do it with you. So you got a workout, buddy. But there it is. It's just all in that technique.
I don't know what it is. I worked out so hard to make this happen for myself, and I just still can't. So one day it's going to happen for me.
You got it for sure. It just takes a little bit of driven mindset, and you got it.
Okay. Noted. Next year for sure, if I have the spring to practice. So, but until then, strangers everywhere, if you're watching this, please start my sled.
Oh,
I find it hard to believe that you've ever had much of a struggle finding anybody in the parking lot to be able to roll that over for you the first time. It probably doesn't slow you down too much.
You know what? I have to say people are great, and I'm actually embarrassingly known for this now. So I think people are just like, you need that started, don't you? And I'm like, I really do. So people are usually quite nice about it. And then sometimes guys will laugh amongst themselves because obviously snowmobiling is a male-dominated sport. And then one of them can't start it either. And then it's just bad news bears for that guy.
Validation. I have validation. He couldn't do it either right now.
Now you know. Now you see. So it's pretty funny.
So we've brought a little bit of human aspect to the show. So everybody that's listening to this, I hope you can appreciate that struggle. And it's honestly something that you've embraced, and there's a lesson to be learned there. I mean, it's like, here I am, this is what I have. And yet you're out there on the mountain daily. If we all didn't have to have a real job, you would, I'm sure, be there daily. But a little backstory for everybody. Eliisa is basically the bright and happy and what was my perpetually happy person behind the Instagram page, Sled Revelstoke. Just an amazing photographer is how I'd describe you, from what I can see on my end.
Yeah, I have been doing sled photography for longer than I've had a snowmobile. So, Cody, I know that you ride for Thunderstruck, and that was kind of like my beginning. I went out with a couple of those guys, and Shad Simmons really kicked it all off for me. So I'm always really, really grateful that Shad, had the cojones to be hitting something pretty big that day for me to get photos. And then I've just been obsessed ever since. I've just, I started up an Instagram, didn't really know what I was doing at all. And then just post photos, usually with sunsets, and really long captions. Can Instagram make those longer for me? Because I always have to go back in and edit them after. It's horrible. So I probably write the longest captions in the biz and then just take a lot of photos. So that's really all I'm here for.
And to shred the knot.
Well, last year, I'm like, I should probably learn how to ride the snowmobile. And I really didn't take as many photos. My riding took the front seat to the photography. And I just, we would have bluebird pow days. And people would be like, you want a photo of this? I'm like, no, I want to go shred.
I want to go ride the stuff.
So I think I kind of learned how to ride a snowmobile last year. I like to think that I can get into some areas now.
I always think that's
smart.
Oh,
move.
Go ahead, Cody.
That's a really smart move to progress your riding to get to where most of the shots are taken. I think that taking last year to really progress your riding skill is going to help your photography page a lot this winter.
Yeah.
Because you'll be able to get to the zones where a lot of the cool shit happens.
Yeah. I was doubled oftentimes. I'm not sure what you guys call it in your parts of the States, but we call it the flying squirrel or getting squirreled. So someone would just throw me on the front, and I'd usually get there anyway, but there's much more satisfaction in being able to do it myself. So
for sure.
Yeah.
We just have to apply that mindset to starting the machine in the morning, though. You apply it to your fitness goals in life. You apply it to your personal goals in life. You apply it to being able to increase your talent, to get to the spots, to get the shot.
No, I just have to turn her over.
No, you just got to get it started.
I think maybe I'll have a new sled one day, and I just hope that I can turn it over. Everyone tells me to get electric start, and I'm like, I would need the weight savings. I can't do that. So
it's a tough balance.
You said.
I do have shot. Yeah. It's only the first pull. Just the first one.
Yeah. Just to get the day rolling.
Exactly. And then I'm good to go. I used to just then throw it in reverse and then fire it out full speed from my box. But now I have a nice truck, so I've been unloading on a ramp this year like a grown-up. I've evolved.
Evolving. That's what it takes.
Exactly.
Conversation-wise, to bring this back to the driven type mindset, I'm going to kind of shift here. We were talking about it earlier, and it has a lot to do with our fitness goals. We have basically somebody that's semi-fitness expert, but you're divulged in it daily with the profession you're in. You have your own personal fitness goals. I'm personally doing my own, and we were talking about diet, but I want to talk a little less about diet, meal planning, eating the right stuff than mindset type things behind making adjustments. Not even dieting is the wrong word. This is just kind of coming to my mind right now, but I want to talk about, because you've made some changes and accomplished some goals this summer regarding, how you eat, how you put out energy, how you transform your own mental state. And I want to dive into that. I want your take on maybe things you've learned over the last couple of years, fitness wise, that have across the board improved other areas of your life.
Okay, that's great. So I have a real job. I work full time for a nutrition and fitness app called Chronometer. I'm the social media manager there, and I love my job. And it's completely changed all facets of my life. I have an awesome work environment. I love my coworkers. And beyond that, I'm just so much healthier. So basically, I just log food that I eat every day. and then get an idea of the nutrients I'm eating, micronutrients, and then just how that's affected my overall health and energy levels. So I think when you start with any kind of self-care, it kind of like builds, and I'm sure, Scott, you can attest to this, even though, you know, as you're coming to a close, that it's feeling maybe a little sluggish at times. But when you kind of achieve one thing in self-care, it's easier to do another. So I started getting my eating dialed. Like, I understood how many calories my body needed, how many macronutrients, and then I started diving into micronutrients. And it's really important to monitor those things for me, especially when I'm sledding, because any kind of an electrolyte imbalance can really change how you recover from the mountain. And I want to be able to ride 6 days a week, and not that I get to do that very often, but and not have energy, my energy run out. So that's been really, really pivotal. I lost not a lot of weight. I've been, you know, a fairly small human most of my life, but I've lost 10 pounds since I started working at Chronometer. And that's just like, yeah, it makes a difference for how I move in my body. And then I got my personal training designation a number of years ago. I've just been always really interested in fitness, worked at a gym as a teenager. And when I got into sledding, that is a big machine, you know, for 130-pound woman. That's a lot for me to haul around. And so I really wanted to start training in regards to snowmobiling specifics. So I was doing some pulls to try to turn my sled over that was incorporated, and I still failed, but I run all the time, a lot. I run 7 to 13K, 5 to 7 days a week. And that's been really good for my stamina. Yeah.
That's a lot. I'm trying to convert that to Americano right now. I'm like 7 to 13K. That's probably 6 miles, close to 6 to 8 miles a day.
Yeah. It's in there. But I'm not winded when I sled anymore. So
I'm so excited to try it. So I've started, like, I remember last year I was trying to get in shape, but I was doing it with the wrong food in my body, everything was wrong. I've learned a ton in the last couple of months. About I think it was like 2 weeks ago, I finally invested in like a real pair of running shoes that helped. I was just using tennis shoes that were like flat bottomed. It was a lot of my whatever. I like to learn things the hard way. So I got the running shoes and I bought them. And I'm like, the guy's like, well, good luck with it. And I'm like, well, I'm going to find out, because I'm walking out of the store and I'm going to go run as far as I can, as long as I can. So I'll know. I'm going to bring them back to see what it feels like. I took off running around this loop in Reno. It's around a lake, and I didn't know how long it was. I just knew I had to run for 45 minutes. So I pushed myself the whole 45 minutes. And then I'm like, wow, I think I can get 2 laps. Pretty soon I was done with 2 laps. And I ended up getting 3 laps around the thing. And then later the day I went home and Googled, what's the distance around that lake? I don't track anything. Like, I wish I'd have been tracking all this. I ran 6 miles in 45 minutes.
Awesome. Good job.
Right. And I remember last year when I was pushing myself, it was all I could do to get 2 miles before the aches, the pains. And I don't know, it was probably around day 50 or 60 or whatever. And so then I on day 75, when I go run, because I've been doing this kind of walk run at 4:15 in the morning, it's 10 degrees out. It's hard to go run for 45 minutes. Like, my body just doesn't work like that. So I'll walk for 5, I'll do some lunges, I'll get warmed up. And then when I hit 30 minutes, I'll take off running. But I want to see where, how long I can go now, because running's never been a strong suit. I've had knee surgeries. I've had meniscus removed. I've had ankles broke. I've had toes broke. Like, these things add up over the years, and running's not a big thing. But with that said, I don't know why it got me on this topic, other than I was kind of surprised by what you said. But then when I put it to miles, I'm like, hey, I ran 6 miles myself.
You are killing it. I think there's a shift in the industry, though. I think that there's people now that are training for snowmobiling in a way that they probably wouldn't even be doing 5 years ago, right? It's now more of like a sport that athletes are engaging in. And I know a lot of my friends put in equal effort, and one of my friends just got her personal training designation. Hi, Morgan. And it's just cool to see people that just want to be better at something and are doing anything they can to have an edge, right? So it's pretty cool to be part of it.
Hey, and so I want to tie this in because we're going to get real good on it. So your fitness, your ability to move, I said this at the beginning of the show, like your ability to move is greatly going to impact your ability to operate mentally in the backcountry, in real life, in your personal life, execute at your job. If you're lazy, and I'm not using the word lazy wrong, but if you're putting the wrong food in your body, the wrong fuel, if you're putting bad gas in your body, and then you're sitting around at in nighttime, and then you want to go execute in life, it's not going to work good. And I know we've all rode this way. I've ate the junk food at the gas station. I drank the beer. I stayed up too late. And then I tried to have a good day on the mountain, and it's not a good day. And your decision-making gets off, your ability to perform gets off. And by 11 o'clock, you're looking for another beer to refuel yourself. And I do see a huge change. Like, I don't ride in those groups anymore that do that sort of thing. And it's like, you don't surround it's pretty cool seeing it all come together. I can say firsthand that it greatly improves every aspect of your life. Moving, eating the right stuff.
I mean, moderation, Scott, because I really like candy and I'm always going to eat it. But I also work so I can, because I think food should be enjoyed. But my parents are both super fit, and I've always really admired that, how much they move still. Like, they're just out doing like canoe trips, portaging. They're total badasses. It's awesome, and I want to do the same. But just from a purely scientific level too, moving, it makes endorphins. You get happier when you exercise. That's just science. So I think that part of the reason I run is just to, have the good mental aspect of that as well. So,
do you listen to music when you run, or do you go for silent?
Oh yeah, no. I pump the tunes, listen to like some Limp Bizkit, and
Cody's been on the run too. He said since we kicked this off. How's that? How are you handling that with your schedule changing completely? And are you sticking with it, bud? Not listening.
I can't hear a word you're.
Is it your connection?
Homer. Let us know when you can start hearing me talk again. We'll come back to you, Cody. We had some obstacles. We had some opportunities to overcome this evening to learn from that we'll get fixed. Anyway, Cody, let us know when you join back in the show. I got it covered until then. Let me circle back to the running. You listen to music. What I got lost. This is live, people. This is part of the show.
We just are here winging it. I think Cody heard that because he laughed, and that was inappropriate.
We had to hear it. Can you hear us now, Cody?
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. I don't know if Tegan was on something, or I don't know. But I can hear you now.
Dude, I totally asked you a question. How are you doing with sticking with running? Because I know you kicked it back off, like kind of once we started the show. And I'm like, how are you sticking with it? And your head turned and you just stared off that way. And I'm like,
you couldn't find it any better.
It was kind of funny.
Well, the working out, running thing kind of got put on the back burner because I've been dealing with getting moved into this house and everything, and then
easy to do.
The holiday and
easy to do.
It's super easy to go lax on the gym and the things that you want to be passionate about when you're dealing with a lot of other things. So I'm pretty well settled in this house now, and I'm planning on getting back in the gym. Woke up at like 5 o'clock this morning. I was like, I should go to the gym. So I'm kind of getting back into that mindset. And
that's when you got to do it. That's like, I think I kicked this whole show off that way when I was talking about my shoulder surgery. Is like, I was miserable for a week, and then I just stood up and I'm like, I can walk again. Like, I say I can walk, but I could stand up and function, and you just go. Like you just go, no second thoughts. Like at 4:15 in the morning, I look at the thermometer and it's 12 degrees out. If I think twice, and I've been subject to this, and I think a good lesson is I quickly try to rationalize in my mind. I'm like, okay, what do I have going on after work? Can I fit in 2 workouts? And it's like, okay, shit, no, I have that, I have that, I have that. So if I work out at 5:45, it's going to be 10:45 before I get done at the gym. No, go. Like, go now. And then I don't like it is absolutely insane. This is like how easy it is to make excuses compared to like, I can't right now. And it's crazy powerful in my day-to-day life. Just thinking about that alone, like I just can't make an excuse. It's insane.
That's like rolling up on a big jump. You think twice about it, you're probably not going to do it.
Yep.
But if you roll into a jump and you don't have to wait for it, and you're not waiting on a drone, and you don't have time to think about it, and you just go, it works perfect. So exactly what you just said. Don't think twice about it. Just get up and go and get on it. I like it, Scott.
One of the interesting things you guys just said, and I was just writing a post about this for Chronometer, is you guys both are using the word should about your workouts. Like, I should do this. I should go to the gym. And it's just so interesting because I changed my focus of running from physical benefits to the mental benefits. I want to run. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just been, I lost the should, and it became like just something that I love to do. I don't know how that happened, because I know running is torture for a lot of people and they don't like it. But it's amazing how quickly it just became a habit for me. And I just want, like, I crave running. I crave moving my body. So
I started using the word get to, like, I get to. Like,
yes.
I get to get up at 4:30 and go run. And like, I have my own set of circumstances here that I get to get up and go. Like, I get to run. I get to, and it's helped. And you still have that internal, like, it's hard to totally flip the switch. I can't say that,
of course.
because 900 times out of 100 times, I would much rather not get to run in the morning.
I couldn't run in the morning. I don't know how you do that.
I get to. I don't have a choice. I just get to.
You're so lucky.
It's just, I don't know. I couldn't fit it in the evening, and with going to the gym again and doing the show and doing the things, like, I just get to do it in the morning.
Yay.
Or it doesn't get done.
Or it doesn't get done.
Well, I like that. I mean, whatever gets you out of bed, I guess. 4:15, that's not okay in my books.
And it's not. So what's even worse about it is I was reading a book or listening to a podcast from Andy Frisella that did this whole thing, and he's like talking about he's like, I can count on one hand the amount of times I've had to wake up at 5 a.m. He's like, no way. And I'm just like, dude, for me to get to do your program, your program and get it done, like, I have to. And I'm like, not fair at all, brother. But these are my set of circumstances. And for me to reach the goals that I want to reach, this is what I get to do.
What have you been reading? I'm curious as to...
So currently, I just opened Can't Hurt Me Now from David Goggins. Okay. David Goggins is a endurance runner that is probably the toughest human being on the planet. He went through like SEAL training like 3 times, and then was then joined Army Rangers, and then, like, I don't know, crazy human. I've read the 2 books from Jocko Willink, Extreme Ownership and Dichotomy of Leadership. I read a book from Andy Frisella. I read a short book on leadership called The Go Giver Leader. In 75 days. It's so easy too, because one of the daily tasks is to read 10 pages, but it's really easy to read 12 or 15 or a whole chapter, or I mean, even there's a couple times it's 11 o'clock at night and I got my my tasks done. I'm like, I still got to read, but you get into reading and it, I don't know. I've always been the type of person that when you read a book, you kind of get tired and sleepy and yawny, but I've trained myself that like I can, when I notice that, I just focus more heavily on the reading and get more involved into whatever I'm reading. And it kind of wakes me up. And I hear a lot of people say that, like, I can't read, I fall asleep. And it's like, well, like you drive, you get tired, you don't fall asleep because your life depends on it, right?
Your life depends on these 10 pages too.
Like that's a real thing. When I'm riding down the trail on my sled and it's that same, like I'll nod off. But I don't get the luxury to actually go to sleep. So I kind of took that same thing to my reading, and yeah, 73 days. I'm on my 5th book, which again, I would have.
Sorry, go ahead.
I never would have done that. Like I've been a reader for the last couple of years. That's how this whole journey is taking me, was getting new information to kind of get rid of what I was equipped with prior to it. But I wouldn't have read 5 or 6 books.
Can you listen to books, or do you have to physically read them?
Physically read nonfiction books, because it's something, and he has his stipulations like why he did what he did, because when you're listening to stuff, you can do other things, and
right.
and the purpose of reading 10 pages is to be attentive and gain something from it. So if you're listening to it, you're also doing laundry. You're not in tune with the reading, and you're not learning from it, basically. So read a real book for 10 pages.
That's awesome. I usually try to read like one book for pleasure and then one book for trying to, be a better person, basically. So
you got to make, the trick is you got to make that same mindset switch that you made with your running.
I get to read these. I actually do. I do like those like self-help genre books as well. They're good.
This isn't really the 75 hard show. I was kind of thinking about that, but I mean, I recommend everybody try it. And if you're going to try it, you might as well finish it. But at the same time, I don't recommend you do it.
That was a very sick. You should try it, but like, don't do it.
Honestly, I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. It's freaking ridiculous. Like, honestly, I would slap somebody and be like, just read a book every day. Just work out more. Just hold yourself to your food accountability. But if for somebody like me, I had to break some pretty heavy habits of being comfortable, cruising on autopilot, and it worked. But man, it's not for everybody. Everybody could use it, but it is not for everybody. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I wanted to do it with Scott for everybody listening and Cody. I really did. But when Scott started doing it, I'd already ran so much that my calves were just cooked. And I'm like, I can't run for 40 or for 75 days again. There's no way that's going to happen. And then going into sledding season, I don't want to do it during sledding season because I want to
commit to sledding.
Pardon?
You want to be able to commit to sledding, not 75.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
It does take, and I've had to give up a lot of stuff to stay committed to this. And I would have, had there been snow here and I was doing it, and if I was committed enough to 75 hard, I would have had to pass on ride days. There would have been no option around it.
For sure. Scott, I think that you did it during a perfect time of your life, to be honest with you, with the shoulder rebuild and everything like that. Like, you were going to be down anyway. And dude, you literally not only rebuilt your shoulder, but you rebuilt your mindset. You rebuilt your body.
Yeah.
Solid. That's solid.
I don't know how many people start it and actually finish it. You might be one of the only people that I know. I wonder how Keegan was watching. He's wonderful. Keegan's so great. He was doing it too. Do we know how he's doing?
Yeah, he was pretty deep into it, and then he had to start over, and he's still sticking with
wow.
it. He's like, and honestly, I get where he's coming from. It's such a part of life. There's so many benefits for it. He's like, if I don't care if it takes me 10 times to get it 75 days in a row without stumming up, he's gonna finish it. And I believe him. Like,
if I believe anybody, it's for sure. He's obviously done way more than 75 days at this point. But
oh yeah, he didn't even take a day off when he messed up, and all he did.
I know. I would have had
started on-
sandwich in the middle there.
Yeah, if you mess up, you got to start over, right?
Yep.
You're supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been out sledding yet? Either like Scott, you haven't been sledding. Cody, have you been sledding?
I rode around on the lake bed.
Woo! I rode today. My sled is not running very well. It just in the deep climbing anything, it just loses RPM and makes me very sad because it's been so reliable for me. It's been such a good sled to me. So
it ran fine when you parked it.
Pardon?
It ran fine when you parked it.
It was totally fine. I took it in for warranty. My warranty, RIP warranty on November 30th. It's gone now. So I was like, I should get this dialed, and then it kind of stopped working. And they replaced the fuel pump, but I think that I've heard that might be the ray valve motor instead. So it just makes
gas too.
Well, I've heard that because I put in, I don't think people are going to care what kind of gas I put in, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I put in the purple, the marked premium because it's so cheap. And everyone was saying that the dye might affect the fuel pump. But who's to say? I got a new one.
Honestly, changing that fuel pump could have kicked up something that was already in the tank or already in a line that was trapped, and by taking it apart and disrupting that flow could have put something into it deeper that's clogged a jet.
I have no idea, but I love snowmobiling, and the thought of not being able to maybe ride this weekend because my sled is broken is making me very upset. So
I know what it is.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. The flux capacitor.
What is that off of?
The flux capacitor?
Mm-hmm.
If you pull your hood off, it'll be under there. It looks like something from the future.
Okay. Is that what you're riding? Are you riding one of those? Because you're on a Taiga, right?
So you might have dated yourself a little bit there, Eliisa.
I know. We all did. I'm fine with it.
Have you ever heard of the movie Back to the Future?
You know what? I have, but I've never seen it.
Hey, you should.
Well, is it even applicable anymore? Like,
it's so
when is it supposed to be filmed though.
It's so funny. Like Back to the Future, I think it's 3. They're in the future.
And is it like 2020?
Yep.
Was there a pandemic? That's what I wanted.
There was no pandemic.
Oh, okay.
Biff's tower was taking over the world.
I wish that I knew what you guys were talking about so I could nod my head as well. Yeah.
So it's on Netflix. If your sled doesn't run this weekend and you can't get out, well, if your sled doesn't run, you're gonna go snowshoe or you're gonna go.
I will do some activity.
A non-frozen lake to paddleboard, but your assignment is to take 2 hours out of the next time you have 2 hours, jump on Netflix and watch Back to the Future. It's an iconic pop art movie from the 90s that really Michael J. Fox, like, do you know who that guy is?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So he was the main character, him and Doc, and they had a time machine and it ran on a flux capacitor.
I want to go to the future when my sled is fixed.
Yes.
Yes.
I just actually watched Forrest Gump this year, which is like everyone apparently and their dog has seen. So I'm on his running routine. I'm just gonna
2 Rotten Tomato radar, 2 tomatoes, 3 tomatoes. Did it tug on your heartstrings? Or you like?
It was emotional. Yeah, it was.
It does get a little emotional.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Good movie. All right. Well, we got a little off track here. Sorry about
We
that.
did. Can we go back to let's talk about our. It's like I'm running the show. You said that I was co-hosting, so I can,
Yep.
We're interviewing each other now.
Let's talk about our sled goals this season. Like, obviously, I want to start my sled, but I want to do way more than that. So I want to hear what you guys are trying to accomplish.
You want to go first, Cody? You got a big season coming up. I can take it.
Take it away. I got to think about this for a minute because I got a lot of goals and I don't want to take up a bunch of time.
All right. So I do as well. Immediate front end goals, like it's the season of the bow tie. So I do feel like one must, if they are going to consider thyself an elite snowmobiler, he must master the bow tie. So riding wise, that 100%. Like I want to do one. They just look like ridiculous. Like it just looks like fun. So along the lines of that, I've went down to a 155 sled from a 163, which I've always rode. I want to do the bow tie a lot, but outside of that, I'm really active in the club scene here in Lake Tahoe. We 2 years ago, we started the Lake Tahoe I wore a hat tonight, Lake Tahoe Snowmobilers Club. And we're kind of at a point where last year we were getting it figured out, getting it going. And right when we got started with like club meetups and building relationships with Forest Service, and we're just in a huge amount of issues right now in the Lake Tahoe area. My goal is we're doing as much as we can humanly possible to have events every month to give back to the snowmobile community in our area and keep the sport alive. For this guy he's over here smashing a hot pocket right now. He is not on 75 hard. It is not a meal plan. Goal is to exceed my duties as a board member of the club and provide opportunities for people in our area to meet and connect and grow their network in the sledding industry around Lake Tahoe. But the bow tie. Like everybody wants to do the cool shit. I want to do the bow ties.
Just want to do a bow tie. That's it.
Cody, can you bow tie?
Yeah, I can bow tie. I don't do it very often.
Are they as fun as we hope?
Huh?
Are they as fun as we hope that they are?
No, they're a blast for sure. So Caleb started doing this thing years ago that is like the underhop. I used to do bow ties everywhere, but then I just started trying to do this like ridiculous underhop where basically you're rolling into the hillside and then instead of going up and bringing it back around, you like straight up 180 and go back the other direction. And I started doing those, and I've been really trying to perfect those and make them solid to where they can be done at any point in time on the hillside. So I started doing those a lot last year. But as far as this year goes, I really want to get this snow bike race to really go off without a hitch. I want to get that course built, and then the electric sleds are going to be here hopefully soon. And then that's going to be a learning curve in itself. It's got a different geometry steering post, which is crazy. My notifications are going off right now. So that's going to be a learning curve in itself. Is just relearning the sled, relearning the torque curve, and really that's going to be the first like month, I would say, of figuring that sled out. Is just relearning everything. And then who knows where it's going to go from there. Like there's huge opportunity with electric. I would really like to, maybe flip it, try a barrel roll on it.
Of course.
I don't know. Like I just got to get the sled figured out. Like that's going to be my number one goal, is just figuring the sled out, and we'll see where it goes from there.
I think it's really exciting that that's an option. I can't wait to see how it performs when it's tested by athletes like you in the backcountry. It'll be really interesting to watch. I'm very excited. It's something I would be really interested in. So
yeah, I mean, I've always thought it's a really cool idea. now that they've kind of got it figured out and it's in a good chassis, and you get 86 miles out of a battery charge, and I think that's more than enough to be here in Alpine. And I mean, it's not very often riders are riding 86 miles here in the backcountry in Alpine. Like, let's be real about it. It's a lot of country to cover in that amount of time, and 90% of the time you're in the trees or hitting jumps. So you don't cover that much area here. So I think it's going to be a good sled for this area. And the other thing is just trying to figure it out. I've been on CAT for the last 4 years. I was on Polaris before that. And of course, this has the Skidoo steering geometry.
Yay!
Which is going to be very interesting to learn. So I actually, when I first went to CAT, I tried to go to the lay down post like Turcotte does. And I tried to ride it for like a month and just couldn't figure out that sweeping motion instead of the vertical steering. So I am anxious about learning that sled because of the steering, because I'm so natural on the vertical steering instead of the horizontal.
Muscle memory is incredible. So it's interesting that it can take a little while for your body to just do what it needs to do.
Yeah. I did jump on Jack from Boondock Nation. I jumped on his Skidoo last year and rode it. We were actually on our way out from my clutch exploding, so I had to he doubled Taylor out, and I was riding his sled out, and I felt more comfortable than I ever have on a Skidoo last year. So I feel like I might be able to pick it up rather quickly. And yeah, I'm just a little concerned about figuring it out, but we'll see.
You'll kill it, I'm sure.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Sled goals for you?
This year I want to progress more on my personal riding front. My bestie Caroline and I were gonna push each other. I think we were practicing some good side hilling maneuvers so we can endlessly side hill regardless of the terrain. We were kind of in doing it on a hill that had slid a little bit and just had some boulders and stuff. Like, we just want to get to basically where we can go anywhere. So we're going to push each other quite a bit. I would love to do a bow tie. That would be a big push for me to make that happen, but I'm still going to try. And then on like my sled revel spoke side of things, I've just been working on more of like a community thing than anything. I just always want to kind of have, this year I want to share more things that people are doing, like my friend Morgan, she's offering like I'm not sure if it's women's specific, I'll have to ask her, but a sled training program for fitness, and that's really cool. And I have another podcast interview in a couple of weeks with Brat Babes Official, which is Angelisa. Yeah. She's doing really cool stuff, and I just kind of want to be more community driven. I've always been more community driven, but I actually did one of my first videos. I just shot a little reel with my iPhone the other day. So I want to do more video because there's so much emotion in video. Usually I do like photos with words to make that emotion, but video just kind of just shows it. So I hope that this year I get out with a lot of different people and get to kind of do a little filming on the side.
You guys are going to kind of have your own little paradise up there this winter. It's starting to look like.
Yeah, it's really an interesting time. I went sledding today and I rolled up to Frisbee, and it's obviously a Wednesday, and I couldn't believe how many vehicles were there. So I thought that maybe there'd be less people. Last year I got to ride in April, and that's when all of this stuff really, really hit. And there was nobody out there, and I was like, all the freshies are mine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But there was not all the freshies were mine today. There was probably 40 trucks in the parking lot on a Wednesday. So I'm going to miss.
Everyone's working from home.
Yeah.
Working from home.
I took a half holiday day today when I saw that there was fresh snow and bluebird. But it sucks because I've made so many friends from the States that I would love to ride with this year. And I want to take a sled road trip every year, and I won't get to go and see anyone or have anyone come here unless there's some kind of like Hail Mary that happens. But I just don't anticipate that happening. So we'll miss you guys. Scott, we won't get to ride together for another year.
It's good because it gives me time to get my stuff together to where I can get away. And it's actually getting so I kind of got plans to take a week and make a loop this year, and it's becoming more feasible with my situation and my home life to be able to do that. I still don't know what to do with my dog. Like, that's my biggest struggle. Leaving home to like go on a long road trip is, I don't know what to do with my dog. Like, what do people hit me in the comments?
You need a friend that loves your dog. I love watching one of my friends, Karen's dog. I think that her dog is like my niece. I like would take her dog anytime. You need somebody that had a dog, doesn't have a dog, that wants a dog.
Maybe I'm like, just in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, my dog couldn't handle living somewhere else. So I tried to leave once, and I took him over to my friend's house. He was going to take all good care of him. And in like 5 minutes, he was out, gone. Like, he's not a jumper. He's not a runner. He's not a digger, but like, and he ran clear across town. And so my buddy went out looking for him, like, and he started he's like, well, I'll just drive to his house and see. He ran all the way across town, and he was laying in front of it in the gate, waiting to get back into his yard.
What kind of dog do you have?
He's a retriever mix thing.
Oh, of course he is. Yeah, they like to run away.
Do they? I had bulldogs. There was no running away.
So yeah, nope, I'll get her sorted out. And that's, again, it's not a bucket list item. Like, I get to go up there. It's just going to be next year.
Yeah. Well, I'll be here, and I'll practice my photography skills and have them dialed by the time you get here.
I'll practice my bow tie skills.
Yeah, me too. We can do a double bow tie. Someone else.
Cody, have you got to go up to Revelstoke?
No, I haven't.
Really? I would just assume that if you filmed with Thunderstruck that you would have been up here, but
yeah, just times never really made it work out, and Jim was always telling me to come up, and pretty much coming up in the industry over the last 10 years it hasn't been easy, and I would pretty much work every night at Snow King as a snowcat operator, and then ride during the day, and it was a lot of work to kind of just make it into what it is today. So I'm definitely working towards traveling more and enjoying more terrain than what we have here, which, by the way, I speak of Alpine like the Canada of the United States.
Other than Tahoe is really the BC of the US, so there's that.
I mean, we are BC, so I like where I'm at.
And that's my thing too. Like, if we're firing here, like, I'm not leaving. I don't need to. Like, I enjoy the crew I ride with. Like, I get to when I'm here, I can take my boy out with me. Like, I have a hard time committing to road trips because of all of that. It's like, well, you're going to go with the guys and go ride big stuff. It's cool, but I'll take 3 days at home and take 1 day with the boys and take 2 days with the kid and ride. And it's like, it's as much rewarding as it is going to Alpine. And I don't know. It's weird for me. It's where I'm at in life, I guess. It's just like, focus on the ride.
Well, when you have paradise in your backyard, it's really hard to get in the truck and drive
to unknown
3 hours to the unknown. When paradise is right there and it's firing, and I'm the same way with Alpine and Jackson. It's very, very hard to get me out of here because I know when it's firing and it's it's 4 feet deep, just blower pow, I don't want to go anywhere because I know exactly where I'm going to go. And I'm going to go get
You guys have to drive far to your sled zones?
No.
Okay.
He goes backyard. I'm an hour and 20 minutes from all the parking lots. So I drive a little bit.
Yeah. I'm like 5 minutes away, and I love that. It's nice to be. Do you literally ride from your backyard, Cody?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the dream.
Let's go.
From our favorite area, I can be from the house to there in 20 minutes, and at the end of the day, I can be from there to the bar to go have dinner in 15.
That is ideal. And I'm assuming you don't see a lot of tracks.
No, not very often, no.
Yeah. Also the dream.
Also,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the ultimate goal, right? That everybody wants to be able to ride to and from their door to their zones, and that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it would be really, really nice. There's not a lot of places in Revelstoke that you could do that, but maybe one day. My friend Brandon, he lives south of town, and he literally just rides from his house. Like, oh, saves so much time and money.
Right?
Just not riding the
Emotional
trail.
living.
Just actually, you guys, I learned how to ride the trail finally after 5 years. I didn't understand how you guys could do it so quickly. Like
the skip and the bumps,
yeah,
you mean?
to skip
Yes.
those. And I was like, how
don't do the things.
I finally just learned how to do that. I'm fast now.
That's commitment.
Just treat the trail like a snowcross track and you're solid.
Yeah, well, someone, I know that it would be really lame. There should be an instructional video on how to ride the trail and float on top of the humps.
I rode with a couple ladies last year, and this was a legitimate question they had. They're like, "How do you do that?" I'm like, because they were gassed by time it was in McCall, and the trail was just hammered going in there. And I'm like, sorry guys, like I don't want to burn myself out. I'm gone. I'll see you at the top. And they're like, I can't do that. How do you always get scared if that one big one you hit? And I'm like, you can't be looking at that one big one. You got to look at the next one past it and then take that one with your knees, because you're going to get over it to the next one. And it matters. You can literally kill yourself.
Well, this is a really weird phenomenon, but when I go over those bumps too slow, my C2 and my C3, they compress and my tongue goes numb. It's this neurological disorder, and I'm fine. It's just a quirk. So I get down, my tongue would be numb. Like I could still talk normally.
I can taste blue.
It was like hanging out of my mouth, but and then this year I'm like, I'm just gonna rally this trail as fast as I can now, and it hasn't happened yet. So I think that's a skill I've learned already.
So your season's progressing nicely.
It already has. I've only been out 5 times, and I've already learned a new skill. When I say that to people, I'm like, I learned how to ride the trail. They're like, okay. Like
That's kind of how I took that.
I know, it's on your face. I'm like, I've seen that look already, Cody.
I knew what you meant. I don't know, because I just had that conversation with somebody last year that they couldn't do it. And what would you say your secret sauce is to be able to do it? What got you over that edge?
Well, I guess it was just, jealousy of like coming down to the parking lot and like seeing people loaded up and my neck's sore and I'm slow. And I'm just like, I'm just going to see what happens if I go as fast as I possibly can down this trail. And it just worked out for me. So that's horrible advice. I always keep my finger on the brake. Anyone who's watching this, keep your finger on the brake.
Yeah, your finger never leaves the brake.
Never.
Yeah, finger on the brake.
So I wouldn't always do that, but that's what works.
9 times out of 10 on a sled, I can say the same thing at the end of last year. I tried the whippy track upside down thingies all year, and it was always just horrible looking, like fail after fail. And finally I got to a point that I was tired of doing it, and I'm like, I'm just gonna hit this as hard as I can and see what happens. And next thing I know, it went up and I went kind of upside down, and the track came around, and I landed kind of like I should. And I'm like, okay, I see how you do this now.
The most suffering.
Yeah.
You do too, Cody, when you launch off like 200-foot booters, you're just, I'm just going to do this as hard and fast as I can.
Well, sometimes. Here in Alpine, it's kind of like it's kind of calculated because literally you jump off the tops of mountains, and if you go too fast, you will land at the bottom of it.
At the bottom of the mountain?
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, watch. I haven't really done I haven't done some of those in the last few years. So look back in my Instagram. Yeah, there was a couple times where I way overshot things.
I think that I've seen something of yours that is like that. I think there was something that kind of went like viral of yours that was stupid big. So
yeah, I think I know which video you're talking about. That was one of those days where I was feeling good and I hit it a couple times and I was like, okay, I'm going faster, and it was not a good idea. The squirrels all at a rave.
I'm never going to keep your tongue in your mouth. Yeah.
Kyle Franklin has a bit of good advice here when you're doing that. Keep your tongue in your mouth.
When we're doing what? Trail riding, jumping?
Yeah, I know. I'm also
all the above, I guess. I don't know. Maybe when I'm live and trying to talk, have I been sitting here just like
it's my numb tongue just lolling out of the
I forget we were talking about numb tongues earlier.
We were. That's also really hard to say. Numb tongue.
Yeah, I'm excited this year. So like I had numb hand, like my throttle hand would go numb a lot, but I think it had a lot to do with my lacerated bicep tendon. Like that might have been related there, or all the tears and stuff, which towards the end of the day, my hand was completely dead numb, and I kind of used the back of my hand a lot, even like riding in trees and stuff. I would lose feeling in my hand really quickly when I started the muscle strain. And the doctor said that that's kind of something that should go away when I don't have severed tendons in my arm. So I'm pretty excited to have more feeling in my hand. Like that's going to be neat.
It's interesting though. I'm not sure with your experience with that, but having, those weird neurological symptoms for me made me want to be healthier. I'm like, I'm going to do absolutely everything I possibly can to be okay with this. And that's when I really that was kind of my TSN turning point, really, when I started kind of grabbing my health in regards to sledding by the horns, because I'm like, what is happening to me right now? And how can I avoid this in the future? So I got a lighter helmet, and then obviously just ride down the trail differently now.
You ride a neck brace?
No, I don't.
What
Even though I'm a tree rider. I only
just
want to
it holds your helmet up. It's not necessarily that. It supports that extreme, and it supports your helmet.
Yeah. I have a super light helmet. I have an FXR helium carbon helmet. In no way, shape, or form am I sponsored by them, but it's so light and it's wonderful. So
FXR sponsor.
No, I'm not. I pay full price for that. I pay full price for that. Can we edit that part out?
But a neck brace would maybe help your situation there.
Yeah, I didn't know. I asked some people for advice. That's one of the things about my snowmobile page on Instagram that I love more than anything. When my sled wasn't running well, I messaged and was like, what do you guys think about this? And I got like 330 people message me. And I'm so sorry if anyone's watching this and I did not respond. I was overwhelmed. But the community is so helpful. And same thing with helmets last year. I'm like, what are you wearing? Why do you love it? And then I actually made like a little tally of the most recommended helmet. The one that stood out was the one that I ended up buying, and it was wonderful. And I'm like, everyone who recommended this, thank you. It changed my health.
The carbon fiber helmet is a game changer.
Yeah.
I don't care, brand aside, just that reduction of weight, like flopping around all day.
Yeah.
Fatigue kills a person on the mountain. So anything we can do to eliminate the fatigue will increase the day's pleasure on the mountain like tenfold. So if your neck's not burning, because we sit in a weird position as it is, like I'll notice it. And finding ways to increase that, be conscious when you're going up the trail, not to have your shoulders shrug, and staying relaxed, relieving that weight on your head, getting a backpack that actually fits your body type. Like people
Don't
get
put anything back in there. Like leave it empty if you can. Is to like obviously keep your beacon and probe and whatever, like where your beacon, your probe, but it makes a huge difference.
The right stuff. Like I was in the wrong bag for a while, not necessarily the wrong bag. It was a perfectly good bag, but just the way it sat on my body. And I kind of always had to have I had to consciously like push my neck out so it wasn't hitting my bag all the time. As soon as I changed bags that let my helmet clear all the way back and I could put it where I needed, I immediately got rid of the burn behind my neck. All those things matter and help you perform at a better level and raise the stoke for the day. And so many people go, I get it. Stuff's expensive. A lot of people can't have it all at once, but put your money towards things that are A, going to increase safety the earliest, and B, improve your comfort, because those two things are going to make you enjoy your days more and forever and always. And shameless plug.
I couldn't agree more. Last year I got new gear. I got a mono suit. I didn't ever think I'd wear one because they reminded me of like baby onesies. But I got a climb onesie, and then I was all of a sudden dry and comfortable. And then I got new boots, and just changing all my gear, putting everything. I have a really cool tunnel box. It's a Pelican case, but it's mounted. It's at Sled Rex. If anyone wants to check it out, I get a lot of questions about it. It's really neat. And I put everything back there, short of like my safety stuff and one granola bar. And it's made a huge difference for my riding and my health. So
well played. It all matters. Get it off your back. And to tie this full circle into the driven mindset, we can compare that to your life. What are you carrying in your backpack that you can unload?
There you go.
Stop carrying all that baggage. There's so many things back there behind us that no matter what we're going to do, they're going to weigh us down. Find somewhere to put them.
I like that.
I like how you tied that all back in, Scott. Good job.
So like
into the backpack or out of the backpack.
Just wrap that all up, buddy.
That's what I do. I get paid the big bucks for that. Not really at all. I am not paid to do this at all in any way, shape, or form. But no, there's a name for it, and I think it starts with an E, where you like you transition. I don't know. Maybe somebody that knows more than me in the comments drop it, but you like. It's like somebody's talking about something and you can relate it to something else. There's a name for that. It's in like English terminology. Like, I don't know. Anyway, if somebody can piggyback, I'm really good at that. Whatever that's called, I'm good at that. And I've been told I'm good at that.
The E word.
The E
There's
word.
a word.
Somebody in the comments tell us now.
It's word goes like this.
So Cody, by the way, like Joe Rogan has this dude he can like lean to and be like, fucking Google that. Like look that up right now. And he does it. Like that's your job, homie. Google that. Oh, you don't have internet right now. You can internet button. Google that. On the Jocko Wilnick podcast, it's Echo Charles, EC. Echo. Back me up on that.
Google that. Hey,
so we're rounding the hour and 15-minute mark. Like I could stay here and talk to you guys all night. Like I know that is a fact, but these people that are listening,
they're tired of it.
This gallon of water that I'm drinking, like it all adds up, man. A little bit all day. I got to circle back. Co-host Eliisa, we've talked about a lot tonight. One thing I want to wrap up with is kind of your mindset behind how you approach your day-to-day life with adventure, with work, with everything. I know you kind of have a certain set of values that you live by. I think our audience and the people listening to this podcast could probably learn something from that. Would you be open to sharing kind of how you take on your day and choose to live?
Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously I'm a lot of energy, and I think a lot of people watching this who know me will be like, "Oh my gosh, she's just always bouncing off the walls." But I think that, there's motivational quotes like "Carpe diem," seize the day, like live your life one day at a time and make the most of it. But I actually do. Part of that is obviously where I live. I'm super outdoorsy. I'm always outside. I want to go for a hike, a 20-kilometer hike, and then I want to go canoeing for 4 hours after. Like, I just don't want to be inside. And I just think that at the end of the day, I want to collect experiences over things with people that I love. Really is my motivation. Time is. I know that anyone that knows me has heard me say this a billion times, but time is our only finite resource. You don't get more. You can make more money or do anything, but you'll never get more time. And I just want to get to the end of my life, whenever that is. Hopefully it's 98 or something really old, and just feel like I lived my life exactly the way that I wanted to, that I don't want regrets about how I spent my time or energy. And I just really want to surround myself with people that I love, doing rad stuff all the time. And I love my job. I'm really lucky. Not a lot of people love their job. I really am passionate about what I do and who I work with. So that's a big chunk of my day. But I just think that it's important to do the things that fill you up with the most joy, whether that's snowmobiling. Obviously for the three of us, that's important. But if your thing is knitting, then knit as much as you can. Just get out and do the things that really set your soul on fire, because that's, when you feel most alive. And I think that's an important emotion to have every day if you can, right? So I'm not preachy really about it, but I do authentically live my life this way. And I'm fortunate enough that I get to spend time with people like you two on Facebook Live that also really are pursuing their passions. So never settling.
Never settle. I like that. Way to just wrap it up with the hammer.
Never. Boom.
Well, I honestly say that your energy comes across that way. Your social media channels, everything comes across that way. That you don't only preach the preaching, you do the doing as well. So thank you. Like, I always look forward to your posts. I always look forward to your blogs. I read them. The latest one about Donkey Kong and Super Smash Brothers. Like, people don't just, like, I don't know, it's just like, that doesn't just, not everybody just thinks of that. You got to be in the right space. You got to have the right energy, the right vibration. I talk about it a lot. And you create that through your motion and you put it out in the world. So thank you, girl. I appreciate it. And I do want to give you a shout out because you just recently released something that all these fine people that listen to this podcast in faraway worlds, when they listen to it, they can purchase something, right?
Yeah, I made calendars. I wish I could show you one.
Trust me, they're cool.
It's actually under my computer.
Most of the people are going to listen to this on podcast anyway. They couldn't see it even if you had it to show it.
I narrated all of the photos.
Did you?
I challenged that.
No, but I really should. Hey, Cody, I write very descriptively, so I can paint a picture with some words, and I will do that for all 13. Yeah, I made a calendar of my photos. I did it 2 years ago as well. So anyone that wants to have 13 images of snowmobiling taken by yours truly, please go to sledrattlesnip.ca and then /shop.
That's it.
What do they go?
What was that, Cody?
What are they going for?
$25. They're beautiful. They're like hard. They're lovely. I'm very happy with them.
Good.
I'm writing it in the comments right now. And that's a good thing about doing this show on this page is you can drop links on it where you can't really do that on your personal page anymore.
This is very unexpected. I wasn't expecting to share this, but thank you, Scott, for.
Hey, man, we support our guests because you supported our show tonight. I got to give you plugs.
I appreciate it.
I can't give you hugs, so I can give you some plugs. It's another good thing another thing I'm really good at is rhyming.
So am I.
Oh my gosh.
I you
Let's
should-
wrap this show up. I'm gonna say a word and you rhyme it.
Okay.
Lamp.
Clamp.
Oh my! I was thinking of the same word. Did we just become best friends?
We did. We did.
Cody,
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 contribute to this.
Cody, you say a word for her to rhyme.
Bike.
Hike.
I like it.
You
That's
are
right.
good. That was
Oh,
quicker than me.
A rapper.
All right, absolute pleasure. But
Thanks for having me, guys.
everything's got to come to an end. We're gonna have you back on. Like I said, when I kick this back off, I want to be able to call on you every once in a while and do this because you are a great addition to the show. So hopefully you accept our invitation next time.
Oh, I'm all for it. I would love that. If anybody has any technique to starting the sled, I would love to be able to come on here next time to say that I started my sled. So just shoot me a DM with the video. That's what I need. So.
There you go.
All right, I'm going to try to figure it out.
Hashtag help Eliisa. Hashtag hashtag hey stranger. Do hashtag hey stranger.
Oh my, that sounds so creepy, but I'm so down.
Let's give it a go. Let's do it.
Cody, that was fun. I love when we pull these shows off, and I hope the audience tonight had as much fun as we did listening to it. And everybody out there in podcast land, like, I hope you can connect with that energy. That was fun.
I had a really good time with tonight's show, that's for sure. And with as chaotic as it was right in the beginning, dude, I think we pulled it off. And that's what it's all about, is just making it happen with what you got. You know, just do it. Go out and get it.
Made the best of it. Absolutely. Snow bikes, Alpine, Wyoming. We'll plug it again. Maybe we can find somebody on there and we can bring them on and talk about it or something, whatever works for you. I'm willing to help that out. So Snow Bikes, January 16th, 17th. Yep. Follow Sled Revelstoke on Instagram at Sled Revelstoke. Cody Hunt, IG.
Cody Hunt 155 on Instagram, and then Cody Hunt on Facebook as well.
Hit this guy up for electrical sled talk, Arctic Cat talk, whatever, man. He your guy.
Truck talk. Yeah. We do it all. So,
all right, brother.
Till next week, stay driven, and we'll see everyone next Wednesday. Thanks for being here.
If you want to be a guest, future guests on podcasts are always welcome. Hit us in the DMs. I don't know what that means, but that's what they say in the shows.
And they say like subscribe,
like my stuff, like subscribe to my show.
I like that.
Later, buddy. Like we said, you guys, driven mindset. It's a fundamental set of principles that we all want better in life. We all kind of want to pursue our own goals. And when you stick with something long enough and stay committed long enough, just like I have with the 75 hard, the results tend to show up. I can definitely say on day one, I did not know what I would look and feel like on day 75. I still don't. I got 2 more days of work to do, but there's several times I felt like giving up. I felt like quitting. I felt like I said, I've gave enough. I'm good enough. I've done enough. I can't do any more. And I got up the next day and I did it again, one day at a time. I didn't look for the end. I just looked at what I got to do today. Time's a finite thing, like Eliisa said, time's a finite thing. So capitalize on the most out of your days. You guys, we're on Spotify. Follow Driven Mindset podcast page on Facebook to get notified when we're live and where we're live and who we're talking to. We're on YouTube, but I don't know. Search my name, Scott Sparrow. I'll tag Cody Hunt, so he'll be on there. We're just getting better. We're just getting started, and we can't wait to see you next week. Stay driven, everyone.